Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. This is episode 2 of my take on Kiwi Lane Idea book, and this is volume 3, page 43, and it's called Sarah, and it's on the top right side of the page. Now, today's episode, I will be using a 6 by 8.5 paper stack by L Studio called Autumn Days, and I will be using a white cardstock as my base. Now, you're definitely going to see that for the most part, the only template that I have a hard time cutting out because it's a lot bigger than my paper is that lacy trims that you see there on the top right corner of my page. I will be using this paper in place of their pattern paper that also has almost the same type of leaves and flowers on it. The heart paper I will be using in place of the I guess it's like a brownish color. The wood grain I'll be using instead of the polka dot. The black and white will be taking the place of their gray and white polka dot. And then this plaid paper will be taking the place of the it's like a bluish paper. So these are my papers that I've chosen, and I think they're going to work out beautifully. They're nice and bright, and definitely on the white paper they really stand out. So it doesn't matter that my template is bigger than my paper because some of it will be hidden behind my photo mat anyway. So I will tell you a little bit more about that in a second. So if you are a subscriber, I'd like to say thank you for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please click on the subscribe button. It definitely helps my channel grow, and it'll give me the opportunity to one day have live videos. If you would like to get notifications, click on the bell and you will get notifications when I have new content. So now I'm just tracing everything out from with the templates, and I'm just going to read out what templates we use. We're using the strips 1/2 inch, which you just saw me trace, the lacy trim, which is that big circle there, the tags 1, 2, and 5, tiny tags 5T, tiny notations 2T, and adorn 3A. And they also use the photos, but I just use my own photos. I don't use the photo mats. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to start cutting everything out. And I do speed this part is all very sped up because it is a long video. I didn't want to leave a lot out because I wanted you to see my process. So I do speed up some parts of it. Some parts I slow down a little bit. It all depends on what I'm doing. So I'm cutting out the center part of this template. And as you can see, if you look at the picture in the book, you can see that this paper is really similar. I have also taken, and so I wouldn't waste anything, I am cutting out one of the tags from this paper. But then I realized that I cut it in the wrong direction, so I will be cutting it again. Because if not, my hearts would be upside down. So as I cut this out, I do, today I will be using Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo, which is more of a brown color to ink my edges. I thought that color would work better with these more warm tones papers because, I don't always use, for the most part, I always use Hickory Smoke, but it all depends on the colors of my paper. So as you can see I just kind of like showed you with my fingers. The photo mats will be going right across that, so you won't even notice that there's a portion of it missing. I'm going to cut out all my tags, as you can see here, as well as this banner that will be going on the left side of my page. So the reason why I decided to do this series of videos is because a lot of people have mentioned that they have the books, they don't know how to use the books, or that they feel, they get confused when it comes down to picking papers. And personally, I understand, because a lot of the Kiwi Lane papers are very muted, and for the most part, every layout in the volume 3, at least, I can't speak for the other ones because I don't have any of the other books, but if Kiwi Lane wants to send them to me, I would gladly take them off their hands and make a few series using those. But yeah, anyway, so I feel like, it's a great tool because sometimes you're stumped, you don't know what you want, what you want to do. And this is a great way to get your pages done and not have to really, and get inspiration from these layouts. You don't always have to use the same exact template. And later on in this series, I will be changing it up. But for the first few videos, I do want to show you that you can create beautiful layouts and use the same exact things, just different papers, and it will still be, as beautiful as you see them in the books. So these pictures are from my 46th birthday. One of my very, very good friends sent me a bundt cake for my birthday. And I'm just showing you that I had to print this out a little smaller because I had printed out in 4x6, but I wanted to cut them down to 4x4. And if I would have cut my picture, I would have, completely chopped up the cake. And I didn't want to do that. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to place my pictures, how much of an overhang I want to have. I do realize that I went a little too far out, so I will be moving it. And I'm using these perfect layer rulers just to kind of give me an idea of how much of a mat I want. And as you can see, I'm going to use my ruler to make sure that I put it down straight. But anyway, going back to the picture, I use Project Life app on my phone, and I'm able to size down my pictures. And that same picture that was pretty big, I was able to size down to a 4x4 and not really miss out on anything important in my picture. But going back to the idea book, I do actually change up a little bit what's going on this layout, because my title, I end up putting it in a different place. I really wasn't going to have enough space to place my title on the right corner, kind of like they did, on the vertical. And I don't know, I didn't like it like that. So that's not my style. I feel like the titles have to be grounded somewhere, because if not, to me, they're kind of like just hanging there. So I didn't like that. So hey, it's my page. I'm going to do it how I want to do it. Right. You might not like the way I do it, but that's okay too. So I didn't realize that I missed cutting out the, I think this is the Adorn 3A. And I was like, oh, I forgot to cut this. So I wanted to make sure it was in the right direction. So that's why I was putting it up there. And now I'm just going to cut this out real quick. And this actually will live on the right side of the page over by my picture. So all in all, picking your papers is fairly simple. You want to have a background paper that is either one color, right? Like my white, or even if you use a color cardstock, that would work as well. Or if you want to use a pattern paper, you don't want to use anything too busy, because, you can use whatever paper you want. But in my opinion, if you use a paper that is very busy for your background, then you're going to have to pick your other layers to be a little more toned down, and I don't know if that would work or give you the same visual interest as if you were to do it where your elements are more busy, so that there's more movement on your page and there's other things to look at, because you wouldn't be picking just one piece of paper that's busy, you'd be picking a few others. I hope that makes sense. It kind of makes sense in my head, but that doesn't necessarily translate well in for the rest of the world. Sometimes I am going to pop up my picture, and as you can see, this paper is not long enough, but luckily I find a scrap and I am able to piece it together, and it you would have thought that, I mean, you have to look at it very closely to see that it's not one continuous piece of paper. And that is also a great way to stretch your papers. This would be a great layout to use with scraps, you know, from collections that you may have laying around. And as you can see, here is where I'm piecing it together, and you really can't tell, not even a little bit. So I'm just going ahead, cutting it down a little bit, and it is a little longer than what I wanted, so we're going to size that down a bit. So that blue paper is blue on blue. It's just a dark, the background's a little lighter, and the foreground, which is the pattern, is a darker tone of blue. So that would be a tone on tone paper. And since it's all from one collection, it all matches. So that also helps you if you're looking to make it a little easier. Pick papers from the same collection, because they are meant to match, so they will go together well. So the struggle is real with adhesive. If you've seen my last couple of videos, I have been using different kinds of adhesives because I can't find my adhesive anywhere. I don't know what happened. I am hoping I didn't throw it out, which is very, very common of me. I'm always throwing things out. I just kind of like, you know, like do a quick swoop into the garbage can, and whatever's in the pile goes in the, you know, in the garbage. And I think I may have tossed my tonic funky tape, which I hope not, because I really love that tape. So I'm using this basil, and I really hate it. That's why you rarely ever see me using it. This was an emergency purchase at a crop. I was at a crop and my ATG gun fell apart in the parking lot. I dropped it and like pieces went everywhere, and I couldn't find some of the pieces. So I ended up buying this from my little scrapbook store years ago. I would probably say like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago. And it's been sitting in my drawer since. But for some reason it like skips, and it's actually made by basil, so you would think it'd be a good tape runner, but no. All right, so here I'm putting my paper down. I'm going to throw my tags in here. You will notice that the top part of my lacy trims, you can tell that I'm missing some of it, but don't worry about it, because we will be able to cover it up, and you would never notice that this was not a 12 by 12 paper. Yeah, so I'm struggling a little bit with the adhesion of that right side piece, because like I said, the tape keeps skipping, so I think it has glue on it, and then it really doesn't. So yeah, it was kind of annoying. And here I'm going to adhere this down to my page. And like I said, it really comes together quick. I didn't want to leave anything out. That's why it was a little longer, you know, with a lot of the cutting. And I mean, I probably could have cut all that out. You let me know if you want me to edit more to make these videos a little shorter. I'll be more than happy to do that. So as you can see, I'm starting to build my page exactly as they have it. The only difference is that I have two photo mats, right? I have the wood, and then I have the blue paper. And so I don't have that open space you can't see the open space rather from the lacy trims like you see in the book. But I'm okay with that. I actually, doesn't bother me. It doesn't have to be exact. And one thing that I kind of wish I would have done was made the holes in my tags, because I always feel like the tags need to be finished with string. But instead I used hearts that I punched, which you'll see me do eventually. And but I really like having that added texture of string. So if I had a chance to redo this layout, that's probably one of the things that I would definitely do. It would definitely be to add some twine or some sort of embroidery thread to give me that extra little oomph on my page. So here's where I realize that my hearts are upside down. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? On this paper. And I will slide my page up. Just give me a second. It'll take me about a minute to realize that I'm kind of low. Yeah, so here's where I'm just going to trace out that little part so that the hearts actually are in the right direction. And I'm going to peel up my strip a little bit just so I can get that under there. And I apologize for the top of my head as usual. And we're just inking edges, making sure everything looks good. And here I realized that this strip was a little too long, so we're going to cut it down a little bit. So this is where they had this arrow. And I was not feeling it there. Like, I think they drew it, like traced it. So here's where I kind of decide that I'm going to use it for something else. And I'm moving it around and I'm trying to figure out, what am I going to do with this thing? And then I realized that I like it down there and I like the black and white paper. So I am going to cut it out of the black and white because I feel like it would be more prominent on the page, as if it was pointing to something, and I was happy, very happy with that decision. I hope you don't hear my washing machine as it washes. My craft room is right next to the laundry room, so I apologize if you hear it in the background. I'm hoping you don't. So here I'm trying to, I was going to pop up this little tail, but then I end up not doing it. It's unnecessary and you can't even see it because of the black. And I'm still kind of leaving it up there and I'm like, what am I going to even do with that? It just felt like it was detached from everything. And my title was definitely not going to fit in that little space that where the arrow is pointing. So here I'm trying to pop this up and then I'm like, yeah, you can't even see it. so this is where I scratched that. And then I was like, well, maybe if I move it over, it'll work. But yeah, no. I had gotten some smudges and I'm using my sand eraser to erase them, which is the best thing ever. If you don't have one, you can find them on Amazon super cheap, and they're basically made out of sand, and they're by Mono and Tombow Mono eraser, sand eraser. They are amazing. I'm using these L Studio stickers, and let's see if I can find them. They are the Cozy chipboard stickers, and I believe these came out in September. And so I'm trying to find something to put there to cover that boo-boo that I have. Well, not really a boo-boo, but you know, the piece that I'm missing there. So some of those stickers say, let's see, next to the blue heart down at the bottom, it says feeling blessed at home. And then up on the black and white banner, it says this was special. And then all the way up the top, it just says today. And I end up writing in the date, which was September 10th. I'm going to start cutting out some hearts with a punch. And this is a Fisker's punch. Which if you can invest in a couple punches, you can use your 40% off coupon at Michael's and just get like hearts, a couple stars. Those always come in clutch if you can get them in different sizes. Like this one, this particular one that I just used has, I think, 3 different size hearts, and it's like excellent. You can use it to sprinkle, you know, things around your page, and it really works out. So as I'm cutting all this out, I'm like, I felt like I needed another type of, what's the word I'm looking for? I needed something else on my page, like some more texture. So I end up going through my stash and looking for my wood veneers. And I had a bunch of wood veneers in different sizes, which I will be pulling out now. So I take this wood veneer, and I actually was able to use the little heart that I punched, and it fits perfectly nestled in between that little, the heart and the little stitched look that it has. I am using some art glitter glue to glue down my heart and a few of my other embellishments. And we're coming really close to the end of this video. There's really not much more that's going to happen other than me gluing down these hearts. I also use some enamel dots from the shape sprinkles from Doodle Bug Designs in black. And I use some gold. Of course, I got to have some gold splatters because, you know, anything made by me has to have gold splatters or some sort of splatter. And I use the Jen Hadfield gold glitter. And my title says, it's party time, not it's party time. And I am using one of the puffy stickers from Elle Studio to do my title. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any suggestions for specific pages that you'd like me to do, please leave me a comment below. And if you have any other questions, always leave me a comment. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where you'll see close-up still shots of my layout, as well as links to other videos that might interest you. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. That really helps other people find my video and makes YouTube algorithms suggest my video to other people. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.